Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today, I want to share my story with you, specifically how I passed the TOEFL IBT. I actually scored 118 out of 120, which was an amazing experience for me because I wanted to apply to universities in the United States, and many of them required scores around 90 or 100. So, I was well above the score I needed, and I'm excited to share the methods I used while preparing for the TOEFL. I also want to give you some advice, so if you're interested or preparing for the TOEFL right now, keep watching. TOEFL Overview. The first thing I want to tell you about the TOEFL is that it tests your ability to take the exam, not your English proficiency. During preparation, you don't necessarily have to learn English. You need to learn how to complete the tasks typical of the TOEFL. Ideally, you should start preparing for the TOEFL when you are at an upper intermediate or advanced level. The first step is to find out what score your target university or institution requires. This will give you a clear goal. For example, my university required a score between 90 and 107, so I aimed to do my best. The first thing I did was download the book Cracking the TOEFL IBT and take a practice test. I scored 85%, which was below the score I needed. So, I identified the parts that were most difficult for me. Surprisingly, it was speaking. The TOEFL speaking section is tricky because in real life, people don't speak the way TOEFL expects you to. You have to give a 60-second speech with only 15 seconds to prepare your thoughts on topics you rarely discuss in daily life. That was challenging. I also had trouble with the reading section because I sometimes get distracted, and reading requires maximum concentration. TOEFL tips. Here are a few more tips. 1. Identify common topics. The TOEFL often includes topics like ancient caves in France, life in the ocean, and mammals, topics you might have studied in biology or geography classes. These are not subjects you typically discuss with friends, so you may not have the vocabulary for them. You might know the words, but rarely use them, which makes you forget them over time. My advice: take note of these topics and watch videos about them to familiarize yourself. 2. Reading section strategies. The reading section was particularly difficult for me, and I realized it was because I wasn't concentrating enough. But on exam day, I focused completely and scored 30 out of 30. Here's how I did it. Skim the text first. You don't need to understand every detail. Just get the general idea. Read the first sentence of each paragraph to grasp the overall message, then move directly to the questions. Question order follows text order. The first question will be answered in the first paragraph, the second question in the second, and so on. This structure makes the section easier to navigate. Find the answer and stop. For example, if a question asks about the most popular color among Impressionists, once you find the sentence that answers the question, stop there. Don't overthink it because subsequent details might confuse you. Eliminate wrong answers. When in doubt, cross out the wrong options and focus on what remains. I used the scrap paper they gave us to write down A, B, C, D for each question and crossed out the incorrect ones. 3. Listening section strategies. Listening was one of the easiest parts for me. The questions are straightforward. For example, if the teacher in the recording says, "We're going to start with a test and then move on to mammals in Africa," the question might be, "What did the children do at the beginning of the lesson?" The answer would be the test. Listen for details. I took notes on everything I heard, but I didn't use them that much, just for about every fourth question. The other questions were easy enough to answer based on what I remembered. Familiarize yourself with American accents. Since the TOEFL is an American test, you'll hear American speakers. Watching American movies or listening to American English beforehand can help prepare your ear for the accent. I originally learned British English, so I had to adjust to the American accent when preparing for TOEFL. 04. This concludes part 1 of my TOEFL tips. In the next video, I'll discuss the TOEFL speaking and writing sections. I really enjoyed sharing my story with you, and I'm thrilled to tell you that I achieved my goal. I was admitted to 5 top American universities, and 2 of them offered me full financial aid. 5. If you're interested in hearing more, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.